Whether you like it or not, the automotive industry is moving towards electrification, and there's kind of two big ways that manufacturers are doing this. Either you can go the route of, say, Lexus and build a hybrid, or you can do what Nissan has done and go ahead and just go for a full-on electric vehicle. In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to compare the pros and cons of each of these electrification options to help you guys figure out which one is the right choice for you. Guys, I want to be clear, in this video, we're not doing a direct comparison between the Nissan Leaf and the Lexus UX Hybrid. They don't compete with each other. We have them here because it represents a hybrid and an electric vehicle. If you're thinking about the choice between either an EV or a hybrid, you really have to think about range. How far you want to be able to go on one full tank or charge worth of energy. And frankly speaking, hybrids are much better for range, as I'm sure a lot of you guys imagine. Now, the best EV on the market in terms of range right now is the Tesla Model S with the long range, dual motor, all that good stuff. It gets about 335 miles out of a single charge, which is pretty good. But then you take a look at all the hybrids that have really long ranges, and well, 335 miles seems like child's play. The Kia Optima hybrid currently has the best range for a hybrid vehicle here in the US, and that can do over 713 miles on a tank of gas. 713 miles. For reference, here's a list of cars that can do over 600 miles on a tank of gas that are hybrid vehicles. So we have the Optima hybrid, that's over 713. The Hyundai Ioniq Blue, that does over 600 miles on a tank. The Camry Hybrid LE, the Prius Eco, the Chevy Malibu Hybrid, the Niro FE, the Accord Hybrid, the Fusion Hybrid, and the Lexus ES300H gets 594 miles out of a tank of gas. But what if you wanted to go on a road trip? How would that math work out? Now, for the purposes of example, let's say I wanted to go visit my parents who live up in Seattle. The drive from Boulder to Seattle is a little over 1,300 miles, and it takes about 20 hours to do the drive. If you were gonna do that in a hybrid, it'd be no problem. You'd just take off, you'd drive for about 20 hours, stop for gas maybe 3 or 4 times, and well, that would be that. But if you wanted to do it in an electric vehicle, you'd have to do a little bit more planning. Thankfully, our friends at Tesla have a trip planner on their website. So I went on the website to see how long it would take to do the same trip in our very own long-term Model 3 tester, the Thrifty 3. And well, here's what the Tesla website showed me. Basically, they lay out all the places that you'd have to stop and recharge. And Tesla is pretty quick at recharging, so you can get about 40 minutes to 80-ish% charge. That's kind of the standard. But when you have to take into account all the times that you actually need to stop and recharge, Tesla says the trip will take an extra 5 hours to get from here to Seattle. 5 more hours. That's like 25% more time you have to spend on your road trips. The driving experience in a hybrid, well, it's not quite as fun as it is in an electric vehicle a lot of the times. Down low, you do still get that little hint of torque from the electric motors, but as you're going and getting on the highway, well, it's just not nearly as punchy, maybe is the good way to put it. Here, we're floored now, and the gas motor turns on, there's a lot of noise that's happening, and then eventually you hit 60, like we just did right there. Compared to the normal gas version, this UX loses 4 cubic feet of storage space, and you can see that when you look at the storage compartment back here. I mean, look, there's just not that much room. It's very shallow. You know, it's not that they're bad to drive. Actually, a lot of them are very quiet, very comfortable, very smooth, just like this car is. But if you're looking for something that gives you that, I don't know, that sense of fun, that sense of excitement, then I think the electric car is really the way to go. Speaking of filling up, well, you guys know how the process goes for a hybrid or a regular gas car. You pull up to a gas pump, pop open the little gas door, unscrew the lid. This is all standard stuff. You guys have done this a million times. You wait until it clicks. It never takes more than 5 minutes, and it's just really easy. Look at that. That took maybe a minute. Maybe a minute to fill up, tops. So here we find ourselves at a charging station. This is basically the closest public charging station to our office, and here's how it works. So you take your little card and you just tap it to this little deal right here. Oh, hold it for longer. Beep, there it goes. Card is now authorizing. Ooh, and then it unlocks. Okay, so we're gonna take this one, very easy. Then you use the key, pop the little charging port on the front, and you come over here. Use this little guy, and boom. So then you are charging, and it's pretty much just a waiting game after that. Here on the Nissan Leaf Plus, it takes about 40 minutes to get 80% worth of your battery left, which means if you want to be going a long distance at a time, you're just you're stuck for a while. You can get some food or coffee or take a shower or something. I don't know, just gotta kill 40 minutes. This is not a fast charger. It will not get you that 80% charge in 40 minutes. This one would take a lot longer. So far, since we've been waiting here, it's gotten us 1.45 kilowatt hours of battery in 20 minutes or so, and it's cost us about 36 cents. This has a 60 kilowatt hour battery, so you can kind of extrapolate how long that would take. But this is the reality of charging an electric car if you don't have a fast charger nearby or something to plug in at your home at night. Now, despite the fact that hybrids and electric vehicles both use electric motors in a lot of instances, they actually drive very differently, because with a hybrid, you have a generator making power, sending that to a battery, and then the battery sends that power to the wheels, and the end result is just not quite as punchy as in an electric car. I mean, just look at this. Whee! Right? I mean, the instant torque you get in an electric vehicle is so much fun, especially up here at a mile above sea level, where electric motors are not affected by the elevation change. It just means that around town and even getting onto the highway, EVs can be a lot of fun to drive. What's cool about this Leaf in particular is there's this little button down here called e-pedal, and this is something a lot of electric vehicles have, like the BMW i3 has it, and even on our long-term Tesla Model 3, you have something similar, but it's basically one pedal driving, right? So you do all of your braking and accelerating basically with your right foot on the gas pedal. When you let off the gas, the regenerative brakes kick in, and when you put your foot down, well, the electric motors kick in and send you shooting off into the distance, giggling like a little child, as I'm about to show you when I get on the highway. Here's what I mean by getting on the highway. Whee! You get a little bit of wheel spin, the traction control lights come on, and boom, there's 60 right there. I mean, it just shoots you off into the sunset. The instant torque, it's so much fun. You also have to take into account how much both of these vehicles cost to purchase and to own. And well, the electric vehicle, at least at first, is more expensive. The cheapest hybrid you can buy here in the US right now is the Corolla sedan hybrid, and that starts at $22,950. The cheapest electric vehicle you can buy currently in the United States is the Smart 4.2 electric, and that starts at a little over $24,000. So you're already looking at a difference of about $2,000. But that Smart 4.2 electric has 58 miles of range, and that's not super useful for most people. So the cheapest electric vehicle that has more than 200 miles of range is the Bolt, and that starts at a little over $36,000. Plus, with electric vehicles, you have the opportunity to get some federal and state tax credits. Well, hopefully that paints a good picture for you guys to understand why you would go for an EV versus a hybrid. Now, what would I go ahead and buy? Well, for me, it's a little bit of a tough choice, but currently I live in an apartment and I don't have a garage where I could actually plug in that Leaf. I would probably go for the hybrid if it had to be my only car, just because the electric vehicle infrastructure is too impractical for someone like me right now. I hope you guys liked this video. I hope it was informative and helpful, and if you did like it, drop a comment down below. Tell us what you think, hit the thumbs up button, and be sure to come back to TFLcar.com for the latest news, views, and real world reviews, and we'll see you guys next time.